Chapter 10 is called Drought, from Li Lun, Lad of Courage. Anxiously, Li Lun watched the grain heads as they developed. Besides the gulls and the rats, the sun was also now an enemy of the grain. It drank the water Li Lun poured upon the rice faster than the plants could drink it. And water was so hard to find. From sunrise to the hour of short shadows, Li Lun worked to find sometimes only a half dipperful. He searched until he was exhausted. Each day he had to travel farther, but there was also gain. On the longer trips, he always came back with gulls' eggs in his shirt pockets. The few shrubs and weeds on the mountainside were now seared brown. The rocks were hot to touch. Li Lun had to keep his sandals on his feet constantly during the days. At night, when he curled up in his cave, it was a relief to take them off. He hung them carefully from the ledge so the rats would not find them and chew them up. He had to guard against that, for he could not walk on the hot rocks without them, and he had nothing out of which he could make others. The water in his special shadow rock hole where the sun could not reach he saved for himself, saved it against the time when the thirsty sun would have drunk all the water in the other rock holes. One morning, a great calm settled over the sea. Li Lun watched it from the rice rock as he fastened the blue shirt to the bamboo pole and set it up. The shirt hung tired and limp. "I know how you feel, little shirt," Li Lun told the blue rag. "I feel tired too. Almost I cannot breathe. It is so hot." He wiped the trickling perspiration from his face. "But I must find some water. See, the plants are drooping their heads. The grains are getting ripe and heavy." Li Lun looked around him. Not a gull was to be seen. "It is too hot even for gulls to be flying around," he said aloud. "Today I will get the water from the rock hole in the shadows, then I will not be gone for long." He drank a little himself, hardly enough to quench his thirst. He wished that he could stay there where the sun could not torment him, but he must not. The gulls might return and get the rice grains. He took enough in the dipper to water the remaining stalks. "Just a little drink for each of you," he whispered, "from my very own water supply." Li Lun had been gone a very little while, but when he returned, he stared at the rice rock unbelievingly, for there stood not two stalks of rice, but one. Only one stalk of rice. Even the husks were gone. No gulls were about. "A rat!" gasped Li Lun numbly as the water dripped unheeded from his dipper. "It must have been a rat." Li Lun felt as if he were standing on his heart down in the bottom of his sandals. It could not be true. Perhaps it was a nightmare and he would waken from it. After a time, he climbed under the rock and very carefully counted the seed husks on the one remaining plant. And when he reached the 7 times as many grains, he stopped counting. He was so relieved. There were more, many more. Li Lun breathed again. Li Lun decided that he would sit beside the rice rock all day. He could still sleep through the dark hours, for nothing had ever disturbed the plants at night. 4 suns later, with the first streaks of dawn, Li Lun hurried to the shadow rock hole to get himself a drink. "How thankful am I that inner spirit directed me to fill the shadow rock hole brimful during the rainy season. Now, pondered Li Lun seriously, "I must choose between guarding the rice from the gulls and the rats and carrying water for the plants." Watching the gulls, he retraced his steps to the rice rock. "If I go far down the mountain to get water, my one precious rice plant will disappear also. I must guard it above everything." Content in his heart that he was doing what had to be done, Li Lun took a few rice kernels from the almost empty food bag and lingered near the rice plant. From daylight to dusk, Li Lun sat in the hot sun guarding the single stalk of rice. As he watched, he gazed out over the sea. The water looked cool and green. It was so hot out there as on the mountain, he knew. It was not so hot out there as on the mountain, he knew. And there were no rats on the water. No, but there were spirits beneath it, spirits that could pull a fisher boy out of the sampan and push him under the water. Li Lun shivered. "I want to live on the land always," he told the sun. "I know how my grandfather felt. He would not go on the water either, and I am like him. He grew rice. I will grow rice. I like to grow rice." He touched the plant gently to feel the aliveness of it. The time for ripening seed must be near. Perhaps he would have to take the grains before they were wholly ripe. He would count the stones of his rock calendar and set them in piles, 1 pile for each moon change. While he watched the rice rock, Li Lun counted enough stones for 1 moon change, enough for 2 moon changes, 3 stones for half of the 4th moon change, and 2 stones more. Li Lun whistled a wind song. He was so happy. It did not matter so much now that if the grains died for lack of water. The head was there with the seed grains in it, and harvest was near. To guard them, that was the important thing. "I am a grower of rice," Li Lun told himself proudly, and he repeated aloud what the priest had told him. "The production of a grain of rice is as great a work as the creation of a mountain." He breathed deeply. It was good to be alive, good to be growing rice upon a mountaintop. There was food only for 2 days more, 3 days if he ate less and went hungry to bed. On the 3rd day, Li Lun decided he must harvest the head of rice.